Okay, everyone, I want to make another quick video graphing quadratics, but this time it's in vertex form. These are one of the kinds that you actually like. Everyone generally likes vertex form. If you don't know why, you'll see very soon. But let's get started. So let's say I'm given this function right here. This is vertex form. And just like absolute values, guys, the first thing we're going to do is make a table. And just like absolute value functions, we're going to look inside that parentheses, and we're going to ask ourselves, what makes it 0? Well, -2 makes it 0, right? Guess what? That goes right in the middle of my table. I count up and down in order 2 numbers, bigger and smaller than -2, and my table's ready to go. Now it's just a matter of plugging in the values. Let's start with -4. So here we go. I'm plugging in my -4. Now guys, if you type it in exactly like I have written here on the calculator, including these parentheses and so on, it will work perfectly every time. Just want to remind you one more time about that. But I'm going to do everything kind of old school, manually here. -4 plus 2, of course, is -2. But the square of -2 is +4. Notice now, I'm now going to do the negative with the 4, because we always multiply after we do a power. That, after all, is PEMDAS, right? That you learn order of operations. Finally, we're going to add 3 with that -4. We're going to get -1 there. By symmetry, 0 will also be -1 as well. All right, let's now plug in the -3. -3 plus 2 is -1, but that square makes it +1, because a negative times a negative is a positive, right? Notice now that negative in front kicks in, and we do have a +3. -1 plus 3, of course, is 2. By symmetry, because parabolas are symmetric just like absolute values, guys, -1 is also 2. So the only thing left to do is the vertex. Let's go ahead and do the vertex, -2. Now, of course, we already know that's 0, and even this negative in the square means it's still going to be 0, right? And 0 plus 3. Sorry, I got interrupted with my daughter there, so where did I leave off? Oh, yeah, we were about ready to do the vertex. So when I plug in the -2 in here, do you agree I'm going to get a 0? And 0 squared is still 0. Again, a negative of 0 is still 0. So I end up with +3 for my y coordinate. And now I'm just ready to graph. So -4, -1, as you can see, is right there. -3, +2 is right there. -2, 3 is right there. -1, 2. And finally, 0, -1. There is my parabola, guys, my quadratic. And that's how you graph quadratics in vertex form. Okay, pause the video if you need to. All right, let's just do one more here. Again, pause the video and give it a try yourself. Okay, so did you look right in here and figure out that -4 made it 0? And so when you made your table, you knew -4, also known as the vertex, because whatever makes it 0 is the vertex, goes in the middle of my table. Did you count up and down 2 numbers and kept them in order? Couple bigger, couple smaller numbers. Notice how they're in order, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative. And now I'm just going to start plugging in the numbers. So when I plug in -2, notice 4 minus 2 is 2. The square makes it a 4. I now times by 2, because we always multiply after we do the exponent, right? And we're going to minus as well. So 8 minus 3 is 5. By symmetry, I know -6 is 5 as well. We now are going to plug in the -3. Negative 3 plus 4 is 1. Squared is still 1. Times 2 minus 3. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Negative 5 by symmetry is also negative 1. And finally, the vertex. If I do take this negative 4 and plug it in here, I get a 0. A square of 0 is still 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 3 is simply negative 3. And so I have my vertex and I'm ready to graph. So negative 2 was positive 5. Negative 3 was negative 1. Negative 4 was negative 3. Negative 5, negative 1. And negative 6, positive 5. Right there, guys, is my parabola. And that's, again, how you graph quadratics in vertex form. Let me just add one more thing before we end this video. Notice how this graph, guys, opens up. Why? Because we had a positive 2 in front. Correct? Contrast that with this one. Notice how this parabola is opening down. Why is it opening down? Because of the negative in front. So a negative coefficient in front means it opens down. A positive means it opens up. You need to try to remember that, guys, among all the other stuff. But hopefully you guys got graphing these quadratics in vertex form down. Please study and review, and I'll see you in class.